First of all, again, welcome everybody. Thanks for joining this session. And in the next coming hour, we will blow your mind with some real value. My name is Stefan, and we have a special guest today. Beside our own Expandi rockstar, Amy, we've made it happen to invite Ian, the founder of Hyperise and the master of hyper-personalization. And actually, in the next coming hour, we will show you a lot of interesting approaches related to LinkedIn outreach, where you can embed personalized image and GIF animations. First of all, a briefly introduction, and we will welcome ourselves, and I will start telling a bit more about Expandi, who we are, what we do, and so on. Ian will take it over from that point on about why you actually use image personalization, why hyper-personalization, and he will also present the perfect personalized GIF. That's actually what it's all about today, using personalized GIF animations in your LinkedIn outreach. And of course, how you can automate all of this at scale. We will make sure that we have enough time to answer any questions in the Q&A, and Amy will present a really nice bonus for all of you if you stay until the end. And we will try to make it as practical as possible for everybody. No fluffy content, just real and pure value. A couple of rules, because I can imagine people will jump in later. People have to drop off a bit earlier. No worries for nothing. We will record the session, and we will make sure that latestly tomorrow morning we will send over a recording of the session and link with the presentation deck, and everything back we will send over by email. So no worries for nothing. Our copywriter will also wrap up a blog article out of this with all the interesting ideas, topics, GIFs, and that will be live next week on our website as well. Let's do it like this. If there are questions for the Q&A, please drop them in the Q&A section. You can find that below. And from there on, Amy can manage everything a bit more properly. If we ask you a lot of questions in between, if you have something urgent to share, you can do that in the live chat. So again, no worries for nothing. We will take care for the recording. We will send it over latestly by tomorrow morning. And let's rock and roll it from here. I'm really excited and happy that you are all here from all these different countries and areas around the world. I'm located in the Netherlands myself, and it's we past 6 p.m. tonight here, and together with Amy and with Ian, we will give you some real value today. For the ones who are not familiar with me, not familiar with Expandi, my name is Stefan. I'm the founder of Expandi. We'll save the software for LinkedIn automation. I write tons and tons of content. You can find a lot of that because I do it also for Forbes. I'm a father of my best friend, Steve. He's 5 years old. And I actually help growth hackers, agencies, SaaS founders, business owners, and LinkedIn enthusiasts like yourself to explore their growth on LinkedIn with our amazing Expandi software. I totally understand how difficult it is to get new clients, because I actually already been there and bootstrapped Expandi from zero without any additional paid help. Now, my winning strategies and growth tactics, I share tons of them on our blog page. They became the CNN of LinkedIn lead generation, and we have more than 50K monthly unique blog readers on our website. So if you want to level up your LinkedIn outreach game, definitely gonna have a look out there, and you will find for sure some interesting approaches, templates, or sequences which can help you to do a better job on your LinkedIn outreach. Enough about me so far. Let's move on to our other rockstar and marketing manager, Amy.
Hello, everybody. Nice to see you all. I'm Amy. Can you all hear me? You've got me today. So I work in Expandi. I've worked for Expandi for the past over a year now. Stefan has had me under his thumb, and I'm really happy here. Obviously, I'm not sure if you can tell from the accent, I'm not Dutch. I'm Irish, based in the Netherlands, based under Stefan.
Do we have more Irish people in here today?
Anyone else Irish here? Sometimes it's nice to see. Usually not so many Irish people, a lot more English people or than Irish anyway that come to the events, but someday we'll take over. We'll take over you English guys. But I'm super excited to get started here as well. Throughout the conversation, I'm going to be answering your questions in the chat and the Q&A. So if you have any questions for me, just shoot it in the Q&A, okay?
Sounds as a plan, definitely to me.
Simple.
Then introduce our rockstar Ian, the founder of Hyperise, which is going to show and untap a lot of real value today. Happy that you're here, my friend.
It's a pleasure to be here. I just thought I would put together a bit of a silly slide, but I mean, that actually is me in the soapbox there. But yeah, I guess I'm a builder. I've been building online businesses for more than the last 20 years, both B2B and B2C. And throughout all of those businesses, the common thread has always been using personalization and hyper-personalization to really smash the growth in those businesses, and been lucky to exit those. And obviously now I'm starting Hyperise, which was founded in 2019. And essentially it's the dream personalization tool I always wanted, that we manually crafted together in all those other businesses. And finally, kind of there was a convergence of technology and data enrichment and processing power that enabled Hyperise to come true. So I'm kind of living a 20-year dream in terms of building a tool that was made for me, but now giving it to many more businesses and seeing the smile on the face that which it kind of, as a producer of a platform, is it's like Christmas every day. So yeah, it's great to be here and love hanging out with Stefan and Amy. I love Expandi. It's an amazing tool, and our platforms together, it's like a dream come true. So again, always a fun day to be with you guys. So thanks for having me.
Definitely happy to have you here again, Ian. So yeah, let's move on from here. I think everybody who is in this session, we are all using LinkedIn, and I see some new people are checked in and joined a bit later. For the ones who checked in a bit later, no worries for nothing. We will take care for sending over the recording latestly tomorrow morning. So no need to ask that again in the chat. And back to where we are talking about LinkedIn. Everybody's acting on LinkedIn. And I think since mid-March this year, we all noticed some changes, if I may share it honestly. I guess that's the same for everybody here. LinkedIn has a huge problem, and that's the spam. The platform is growing so really fast with almost 800 million users on our platform. And before people leaving, LinkedIn actually want to reduce the spam. So what they did is in mid-March, they reduced actually on a very simple way the amount of actions you can do per day. So it means that from the old days, we could send easily 100 requests each and every day. And from April on, they reduced it and limited it to a total amount of 100 per week. And from that point on, it became a bit of a more challenging, because everybody was used to do outreach on a certain way for many years. And if the outcome was too low, then the only and the best answer until then was to just add more people on top of the funnel. And at the end, there are always enough people who reply. Now we have to make some changes. We have to do a step back and try to adopt new ways to survive on LinkedIn, and actually stop with doing these spray and pray approaches. But changing people's behavior is a bit of a hard one. I faced a lot of challenges with all the people I spoke in the previous months about what's actually the best way and how can you do that. And everybody was asking me, Stefan, I really like your Expandi software, but can you tell me a bit more about how can we bypass these limits? And actually, almost nobody was asking me what LinkedIn actually want me to do to become a healthy LinkedIn user. And that shocked me a bit, because if I dive a bit more in depth into what LinkedIn wants you to do in relation to the social selling index, or SSI score. I see that 90% of the users have actually a lower SSI score than 70. And the ones who have a 70, they are mainly focused on the fourth pillar, building relationships. Now, with the new edition of Expandi, we try to help you improve your SSI score by providing you the best features to work on the other three pillars of the social selling index. But again, we all have to deal with a weekly limit of 100 requests per week. In general, this means that we have to do a better job in the targeting, and that we have to make sure that the people we are going to approach are also going to reply. As you can imagine, I know a thing or two about LinkedIn, and I've tested tons and tons of different approaches myself and with Amy in our team. And I can honestly tell you that using personalized GIF animations is one of the best ways to.
Oh, did we lose Stefan there?
Have we lost him?
Oh dear.
Approaches, very really valuable insights today about how and when and which images you actually can
We
use.
lost you there for a sec, Steph.
Oh, sorry.
Just a second, so you're all good.
It was good. It made me keener to hear what you were saying.
Where did you lose me?
Pregnant pause.
Okay.
Like
Yeah. Let's repeat the last sentences again. As you all know, I know a thing or two about LinkedIn, and I've tested and played around with hundreds different approaches and strategies. And yeah, fair enough. One of the best ways to get replies is using GIF animations, personalized GIF animations in your outreach on LinkedIn. And it will definitely increase the reply rate to an amount of at least 55% in comparing to a 25% on average without. And that's what we're going to talk about a bit more today. So Ian will show some real value in a couple of minutes. But before we do that, I definitely see that a lot of people are in here already using Expandi, but there are also a couple of people who are not familiar with Expandi. So just a small recap. I don't want to promote it too much today, but actually Expandi is the world's safest LinkedIn outreach tool, and it will help you get results and supercharge your outreach game. And we've created the next generation of LinkedIn rockstars using the power of knowledge and world-class software. Our V2 version contains a lot of additional interesting options as an native email outreach. You can create much more touch points in your outreach with the personalized GIF and image animations from our partner Hyperise, and everything integrates with just one click to every workflow you want to build. Just providing you with software is mostly of the times not enough. It's always about educating, about best practices, how you can use such kind of tools. And that's where I talked a bit more about in the beginning. On our blog, we share tons and tons of value, examples, templates, workflows. And that's also what we're going to do in our brand new academy, where we wrapped up a couple of masterclasses about specific topics such as hyper-personalization, but also CRM integrations, and also how to use or how to master Expandi V2. It's all free to start with, and Amy will tell a bit more about how you can join, how you can sign up by the end of the webinar. She will also present a really nice bonus for everyone who stays until the end. So actually at the end, Expandi is a great tool. We can do a lot of personalization. It's mainly focused on LinkedIn. In the new edition, we also provide you with a really cool email integration, where you can, of course, also use the hyper-personalization. And to dive a bit more about where we are all here for today, let's give the word to Ian to show some real value. I think, Ian, before you start, it's maybe a bit more easier if you share your own screen, right?
Yeah, sure.
Because otherwise you are maybe too fast for me to click over on the right times as the sheets.
So let me share my screen then. Make sure I get the right one. You can see my screen now. There. So let me just kind of skip through to where we're. So just obviously this was let's move on to prior to this event. I was kind of interested to understand kind of what my audience, my LinkedIn audience thought about, and obviously their audience, their network thought about image personalization. Just really as a starting point, to understand, how people feel about that. I didn't specifically say GIFs, but just talking about images, and how important it can be in outreach. And I was really surprised. I expected it to be positive, but you can see here, 86% voted that they believe images, have a positive impact in outreach. But I think what's interesting is probably the amount of people actually using images. I probably should have asked a second question and followed that up another poll. This was over almost 300 people that voted on this. I imagine if it asked how many people are actually using images, it'd almost be the other way around. Because if you think about most of our business outreach, when we're kind of B2B sales messages, it's predominantly text in email, in LinkedIn, a lot of text. But yet we all kind of subconsciously know at least that, that images have an impact. But the reason why we don't do that is because it's more friction in the process. It's more, more things I've got to do, not just write a nice sentence and make it personalized and make it relevant to the call to action, but now I've got to create an image that's also got to reflect that call to action. And that's obviously makes it a lot harder to do that. But hopefully today we can change that and give you some examples, actionable content today that you'll be able to go away and create your own images that you can really scale. You create it once and use it many, many times and see a massive impact from that. So what I want to kind of do is just kind of first of all look at why use image personalization, why personalize images in your outreach. As Stefan's already said there, that LinkedIn engagement or kind of content engagement and user engagement is getting harder and harder, and more messages are being sent. Platforms are obviously changing their rules to try and combat that and restrict you, but people try and circumnavigate that. As Stefan said, most of the people coming to him were asking how you can circumnavigate that, but rather than just fighting that kind of losing battle against the platforms, you've got to go with that flow and you've got to learn how to make the most of what you've got. And so by driving the engagement, increasing engagement is where we can kind of make the biggest impact. And that's really where images comes in. And as that survey suggested, the majority of us are visual learners, but we all process images significantly quicker than text, like 60,000 times quicker, which is crazy. So when you have an image that's reinforcing your call to action, but then you have personalization in that image, that personalization, because the image is processed so quickly by the brain, is going to trigger what we call a pattern interrupt. And that pattern interrupt is just like putting a brake on the brain, leading to more mind share. And that more mind share leads to more engagement. And obviously more engagement leads to more people taking your call to action. We've seen clients that get, our average client is kind of doubling their conversions. But, we've seen 3, 4, even 14x uplifts from using personalized images in outreach, to trigger that level of engagement. And it's kind of, there's lots of ways that you can use an image, but if your call to action is, hey, let's jump on a call, a demo, a strategy call, whatever it may be, if you are at the end of that call to action, then humanizing your outreach works amazingly well. Obviously, we all know that kind of the human brain kind of processes things differently when it comes to human face versus other objects. So when you have a human face, that kind of triggers more engagement in the image. In this case, using a GIF, the movement, it's going to draw the eye in, and that obviously helps. And then on top of that, in this case, we're kind of leveraging the law of reciprocity, where we're waving and smiling. And that kind of law of reciprocity really just says that if you do something nice to somebody, they're going to feel compelled to kind of respond to that. So if you're waving and smiling and you've got the personalization in there, it's going to trigger their curiosity, then kind of a significant uplift you're going to see in terms of people responding to that, and therefore they're going to be more predisposed to kind of your call to action. In this case, jumping on a call. And it's also about using the image to reinforce that call to action, or in this example, minimizing the friction. So, rather than saying, hey, let's spend 30 minutes on a demo, saying, hey, let's have a chat and a coffee. And obviously we kind of think a coffee equates to, a much smaller amount of time. It's much more casual, 5-10 minute chat and a coffee. It's a much kind of smaller ask from a friction perspective. And so having an image, that reinforces that, where you can say, hey, let's have a chat and a coffee, that's kind of, oh yeah, that sounds nice. It's kind of friendly behavior. And if that's in a cold outreach, it's a great way of having an image, with simple personalization like their name and a bit of kind of, visionary kind of, or kind of visualizing that ask, can really help. And it's just about elevating your prospect's feel-good factor, doing something they feel special. It's like, making them smile, saying, wow, okay, you've got me, I'm sold, not because you've even talked about your product or your prospect, but just because they realize they're seeing something that's a little bit different and they appreciate that kind of that effort. And you can see, just from, I actually had a few more slides in this, and Amy cut about 3 of them out because it was just wall after wall of comments, because honestly, it's so simple just to kind of see the kind of the feel-good factor that it generates. But what I thought would be fun, rather than you guys just sitting here and listening to me just talk, I want to kind of get you involved a little bit, just to kind of get your opinion, and just kind of, just, it's interesting. Obviously, I took part in this. This is one of our clients, Orca Security. And when they first joined us, they had an interesting marketing strategy in that they sponsored events. So in this case, Black Hat was the event, which is a cybersecurity event. And they sell cybersecurity at enterprise level. And so what they want to do is that they kind of sponsored the event, got the attendee list, and then reached out to all the attendees, and they had this bribe that if you turn up for the for a demo and you've got more than 1,000 cloud assets, which was their kind of barometer for a customer, then you get this $200 gift card. That's quite a lot of a convoluted message. 1, hey, we attended this event, or we sponsored the event you attended. 2, we did cloud security. 3, if you've got more than 1,000 assets, you'll get $200 for attending a demo. So it's a lot of things to kind of put in there. So you imagine the text was quite large. And so what they want to do is break up the text and have some personalized imagery to kind of help weave that story. And so they started off, their default was, we're going to have the gift card and we're going to personalize it. You can see in this example, and you'll see it in most of my examples for this presentation, that I use Tim Cook, just because, not that I'm a fanboy, but I just like to be consistent with my examples. But you can see that kind of they started off with, we're going to have this gift card, and that's going to be, the way to kind of visualize that story. And then they did a second test, which was, okay, maybe because it's an event, have this mock-up of the event, and again, we'll have the name. And it's just a way of kind of getting them to understand the call to action. And then the third one, they had, this is Todd here, who's one of their SDRs. And you've got this kind of post-it note that's kind of got the call to action, but it's kind of vibing off the, obviously the gift card from image number 1. So I can see Amy's put the poll up there. And number 2 is winning, which is actually was my favorite too. So again, shows you what I know, because actually it was here we go for the reveal, drum roll. It was Todd. Todd won. But this is interesting. So the baseline for this test without the personalized image was a 1.7% conversion rate. So that means that for every image they're sending out, or for every 100, they're getting kind of, or every, however many it was, 700, they got 12 bookings. So it was, 1.7% was okay, I think, but, obviously they wanted to do better. And you can see the winner, Todd here, pretty much almost doubled, from 1.7 to 3.1. So they were super happy with that. But one, never to rest on their laurels. They thought, well, okay, what we liked was, or what looked to be winning was having that humanization, having the face. So they went a step further, and I can't help but smile every time I see this, because I kind of understand the story that went behind this. But I mean, just kind of take a step back, actually. Interesting that, we thought number 2, that was also my favorite, but we kind of all thought it certainly wasn't number 1. But yeah, Todd, it's interesting.
It became close. We
got far, but we've got a second chance here. We've got a second chance. Is Todd going to do it again? And so the interesting thing here, if we can we throw up another poll for these ones, Amy, or is this?
Yeah, I'll get one up now. Give me one second.
So,
what do you all think?
So the interesting thing
this will be quite interesting, actually, because everything is personalized on all ones.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing here was that this was when Orca came on as a client. This was during lockdown, and so everybody was at home, you know, and couldn't get to the office and couldn't, you know. So like Todd here, for example, if you actually look at this picture closely, that's actually the back of a picture off the wall. It doesn't have a white wall. This is off the wall, and you can see that's actually brown tape, you know. And he's just
wow, innovative.
but I thought when I looked at that one, I thought, you know, that they're reaching out to enterprise CISOs, you know, chief information security officers, and it's big ticket deals. So I thought, you know, Todd here looks very kind of regal in his you know in his home office in his nice chair. And I thought that's going to appeal to, you know, these kind of these technical types. But yeah, anyway, and this was Steve here, and then Eric came out with this one, and obviously at home had not only an Orca suit but a green screen, you know, to have this kind of beautiful background. And I was like, wow, that's, you know, a bit different. I was not 100% sure about that, but so we can see here what we got. So again, we've gone.
Yeah.
Todd looks like he's got it at 48%. And certainly not Steve, poor Steve. But, and Eric's kind of coming up 40%.
No one's loving Steve.
Let's
go. So
Paul,
let's have a look.
It's tight and very close here.
Between 2 and 3.
It wasn't close. It wasn't close. Eric smashed it.
Wow.
A little bit close. I mean, Todd still did okay, but this craziness and. At the time, I thought maybe it's because it was lockdown and, you know, people needed a bit more of a laugh and a smile. But Eric's still using this one about 3 events on, and it's still kind of still a winner for him. But it just goes to show you that 1, the humanization worked, but 2, when we included a GIF, it just kind of brings it to life a little bit more. I'm not suggesting everybody's got to dress up in some sort of mammal or whatever, or any other sort of animal for that matter. But, you know, even kind of Todd, you know, in his office here with his picture frame turned round, you know, had a great impact. And, you know, and even poor Steve, he still beat all the other images. Let's not forget. And the interesting thing is when you look at the actual detail, the numbers of this campaign, the baseline campaign with the 1.7 conversion got 12 bookings out of the 700. If they'd have done that for the whole campaign, they'd have had 120 bookings, give or take. Whereas actually what they ended up getting was an additional 178 bookings by uplift by using these improved images. If they'd used just the GIF 3, they'd have had almost 400 demos. You know, so just shows you the difference, you know, by using these personalized images, you know, and making a big impact. So I hope that's given everybody a little bit of fun in terms of getting to vote and realizing that we were all wrong. I got it wrong too when I was kind of managing the client, but you know, that's why it shows it always pays to test. So and you know, and certainly paid for them, paid well. So that's image personalization, and I hope everybody agrees that that's you know, there's some certain benefit there for that uplift that you can get. But with expanding with Hyperise, it doesn't stop just with images in your outreach. Expandi has got an amazing tool where you can trigger emails on connection, send those out. And I've been doing that for some time now. And I've been A/B testing that and getting 85% more click-throughs when I have that personalized image in my email. So I just send very simple emails when somebody's connected with me on LinkedIn, just to say thank you. So no real purpose, offering a little bit of value. As you can see in this one, if I can help in any way, I'm always open for a chat and a coffee. And then I've got my personalized GIF here. But it gets great, but the GIF is obviously clickable, and then I'm sending them to my call to action landing page where they can book a call. And that is very effective.
Which is also personalized, right?
Absolutely, yeah. So I can show you an example of that in one of the up and coming slides. But yes, if you can personalize the landing page as well, there's some significant uplift. If I go to this next slide, this is actually what we call a personalized short link. Again, another capability that can happen with Expandi and Hyperise. And again, that's when you add these short links into your messages in LinkedIn, and it will show you not only a personalized image, but it's also clickable. And when you click that personalized image, you're going to get through to a personalized landing page. So in this case, you can see the call to action this page. We've got a Calendly, and it's personalized to Tim. Again, Tim Cook from Apple, of course. The page, the business names in there, and we've even got personalized video embedded in there. With call to actions. Maybe his website there. We're doing some brainstorming and call to action buttons in the video. So a great way to kind of create this true hyper personalization where you're personalizing the outreach, increasing the engagement there, and obviously the call to action conversion rate. But then you're taking them to the website, and then the further personalization there is going to drive even further conversions uplift. And what we found when we use these short links is a significant uplift in people that will click. You can see that 86% of the users that we engage with through a connection and message campaign on LinkedIn were clicking those short links, and also that was maintained a great conversion rate in terms of that call to action, that booking page we just saw, people taking that. And I think the reason why that is, why the strong conversion on the booking page is HubSpot did this survey, and it was over a 6-month period. So it was a significant length in time, and over 300,000 sites. And what they found is that when personalization was used around the call to action, the user, the prospect, the visitor was more than twice as likely, 202% kind of a lot more likely to click that call to action and take that. So, as we see, image personalization is a good way to move on to the site. Personalization around the call to action, whether that be textual or images, is a great way to move them on. And we've seen that with clients and other customers, like Intercom. They got a 3x uplift by using personalized company names and imagery, on those landing pages. I know, Stefan, Amy, your data scientists you've had have been looking at trawling through your campaigns, and even though you guys are super optimized and the best in the business in terms of your outreach templates and content, you're still able to get a significant uplift when you started using Hyperise in those messages. So yeah, certainly
Definitely.
some strong correlations there, that matches kind of what we see from our own users. So hopefully, again, you can see some of the benefits of not just creating the images, dropping them in your outreach, but also then personalizing your landing pages. And the great thing with Hyperise is that you can personalize your existing website. It doesn't matter what it was built with, you can personalize that, your existing landing pages or pages that you built specific for this purpose with no problem, all code free, very, very simple to do. But
just to make it a bit more practical for everybody, if the starting point is LinkedIn, they start using.
Maybe not.
I lost you there again.
With Hyperise, they outreach request, they click on link, and that can all be done with the Hyperise, right?
Absolutely, yeah. So I realized that we kind of are. I took it maybe a little bit longer than anticipated to kind of talk about some images. So I'll try to speed up a little bit, but absolutely, we'll show you some examples live of how to do that, creating the link between Expandi and Hyperise. But before we do that, what I wanted to do is kind of just give you some examples. And again, I won't kind of labor these because you're all going to get the deck and you'll see them all. And obviously, we've touched upon this. GIFs are great just because of the movement of the eye. And so what I want to do is just share with you some examples that we or clients are using to great effect. So as I've already mentioned, if your call to action is you jumping on a call of some way, humanizing it, showing you in that call to action, works amazingly well. But there's lots of other ways you can use that. For example, if you have a product that you want to show, I think we've had clients that have like a self-serve sign up and get access using GIF animations of your product. And again, in this case, you can see it's personalized to Apple. So you've got the movement that draws the eye in, and then you're actually showing the value of your product, but also as they would see it, some personalization to them in that case. Or using memes as well. Obviously people, kind of the great thing about memes is people are very familiar with seeing them. Then adding again that personalization can be a great way of telling a story, or kind of using them in kind of seasonal for kind of follow-up engagement for existing customers, even celebratory GIFs as well. So, again, just to create that kind of feel-good factor, and further that engagement. Obviously, a lot of the GIFs we just looked at are predominantly B2B. We also have kind of many clients in the B2C world. For example, this is ecom world and ad world, where what they do is when you buy a ticket, they give you these shareable GIFs personalized to you. As you can see, obviously, your name on the ticket, and then encourage you to share those on Twitter, with their hashtag, so they get further engagement and referrals, and obviously you get into kind of draws for further swag and that sort of thing. So, a nice way of providing some delight, to your kind of attendees, but also getting some kind of referral magic. But all of these types of GIFs that we've just looked at, very, very simple to create. Some of them, you can create on your iPhone or your Android using video and converting to a GIF. And there's a couple of apps here that I've linked to. So again, obviously, you're going to get the deck, so you have these links to these apps. There's a great website here called GIFpal. I'm going to show you that one in a moment, where you can record your own GIF directly using your webcam. And also Giphy, a lot of those GIF ones, the meme ones we just looked at, were all coming from Giphy. And also there's another great site called easygif.com, where you can upload any sort of MP4 video and create GIFs. But what I thought would be nice to start with is go over to gifpal.com. And what you can do at gifpal.com is just use your webcam to record a GIF. So what I'm going to do is just choose the dimensions here for a GIF. Actually, what I'm going to do at this point, I'm just going to grab in. I've got a little easel here.
Very interactive.
Yeah.
This is what I like, Ian, a real live demonstration.
Exactly. So what I'm going to do is maybe just sit here next to it, so I could just maybe point at that. I'm going to click this little red button. Now we've got our GIF.
Beautiful.
There we go. It's going to give us, it's a little bit cheesy, but what it's going to do is allow us to humanize that situation. Obviously, we've got a kind of somewhere to put our message. And we can use it in our outreach, and we can create a really nice engagement, and delight moment for those people that we're going to receive it. So what I'm going to do is now just very quickly jump into Hyperise, and I go to the images section, and I'm going to choose to create a new image, and I'm just going to upload that GIF that we've just created from GIFpal. So I'm just going to click Add New, and hopefully in my downloads, I should be able to see that GIF. There we go. Now, I would say, or what I should say at this point is, right now, we've just gone through this process of using GIFpal. Before the end of the year is out, we'll actually have a button here where you'll be able to record the GIF directly within Hyperise, so you won't even need to go somewhere else. You'll click here, do that exact same process, and then the GIF will be there in your account. So we'll knock
that's
out
really cool.
there.
Yeah, that's so cool.
But in the meantime, we'll use this process. We can see here we've got our GIF now. Essentially, what I can do is just drag in some. It's perfect. I've still got the X-wing in there. Still get a bit of Star Wars love after all. What I can do is put in some a text block here, and I'm just going to say hi. I'm going to say first name, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to change the color and the font. Maybe have it so it looks a bit more like it's kind of handwritten, but not too scruffy so you can't read it. And then I'm going to increase the font to maybe that sort of size, up 21, take off the italic maybe. And so now we've kind of got hi first name, and I'm going to duplicate that, and I'm going to put, we're going to have something else here. I won't kind of spend any more time putting the call to action. We've got this nice board here, where we can have, whatever your call to action is over multiple lines. And so now we have our image, and we can preview it. And you can see now we kind of got our image with the personalization on there. And we can even go further, if we wanted things like logos, their logo in the corner, for example. And again, what Hyperise does, it will personalize those, and we'll pull the data through from Expandi, it pulls it from LinkedIn. And so we can have obviously personalized text, as well as profile images, company logos. So lots of ways that we can create a really rich personalized image. So what I'm going to do is just say,
could you show some of the other placeholders that are available? Someone was asking in the comments.
Yeah, absolutely.
What placeholders are there?
Absolutely. So essentially we have business name, first name, last name, job title, category, But if you have any custom placeholders set up in Expandi, you can pull all of those through as well. So any dynamic placeholders you've created in Expandi, they can be used as well. These are just the kind of default set, if you like, which obviously around the business at job title, and the actual prospect. But yeah, any custom variable data can be pushed through as well. So that's really the process. Within probably a couple of minutes, we've created a GIF. We could do the same process if we wanted in Giphy. If we wanted to find, one we could send out as a Christmas GIF, maybe. Let's say, this one is quite nice. We could just find that and then just right click and choose save image. And now we've got a GIF, in the same way we had before with Giphy, with GIF Power Save, and we could just add that into Hyperise in the same sort of way. So very, very simple, super simple. Like I say, the GIF recording is going to be even simpler within a week or two when that's built in. But now that we've got our image, what I want to do is just show you how simple it is to use those within Expandi. So it's a very simple setup process within your account, within your profile settings, where you just add your Hyperise API key, and you just grab that within your settings within Hyperise. You can just create your API key here. Oh.
You know how to spell it.
I must have written.
I can imagine that.
Actually,
spelled it too many.
Yeah. I actually go to your platform.
If people are confused.
I realized when I type app dot, it recommends
Always
expanding Hyperise. That's how often I go to your platform. Copy your API key, and then within Expandi, you just add that. And once you've added that, all of your personalized images are now going to be available. So let's say I'll just create a brand new campaign here.
And in the meantime, maybe Amy, it makes sense. Sorry to interrupt you, Ian, here, because I can imagine people. You are going so fast because it's so natural for you that people are getting confused. Maybe Amy, you can make sure that you drop the Help Center article in the chat already, so that people can see it. We will also make sure that we send that one over in the email afterwards, so you will get it anyway. But for the ones who can't wait right now, let's drop it in the chat. All the steps are very clear.
Yeah, absolutely. I apologize if I do get excited.
No.
But yeah, there are links in this deck, for the tools we've used, to the kind of the process of building the image, which we've just done, and also the integration guide between Expandi and Hyperise is also linked on this slide here. But yeah, once we've created that GIF, obviously you saw that we've just gone through that process, and then we can simply automate the process through the integration of adding those images that will dynamically get updated. And essentially with Expandi and Hyperise together, we can embed personalized images into follow-up messages, into in-mails, and into emails. And also with the personalized short links, we can embed those into connection notes, follow-up messages, and in-mails. So now that we have the connection, what I could do, you can see here, we've got a new campaign, which is a typical connect and message campaign. And so we've got a connect message here, where we could have either something very simple or something more elaborate, but we can even add a personalized short link into here, where, for example, I could choose the image, the GIF that we've just created, which is my IGN GIF event. I could put in a title here, first name, book a personalized demo now, and a description, and also a URL, so where I want to send them to. So obviously we're adding a short link that's going to be clickable. And so now we've got a short link here in the connector message, but also what we can do in the body, we can also either drop personalized short links as we just in the connection message, or we can drop down and have messages in the embedded images inside the message. So very, very simple to leverage these two techniques of either embedding an image in the message, and that's really perfect for if you want to kind of draw that sort of engagement. You want somebody to kind of have that feel-good factor, and maybe it doesn't have to be when you're kind of wanting an icebreaker, where it doesn't need to be purposeful. Click here to book a call, like say post connection, you just want to put a smile on their face, then embedding an image can be really great. Or if the call to action is like to respond, to reply, if you want them to click and go somewhere else and to book a call using your Calendly or whatever, then using the personalized short link option is a great way, because then you can have a clickable action that will take them to those personalized pages of yours. So hopefully that distinction between the two makes sense. But yeah, that's kind of essentially the way those two processes work.
So just a couple of small steps. People sign up for Hyperise. They will get there the API token the way as you showed. They will copy it. They will place it in Expandi in the profile settings. They will save it. They go back to Hyperise, and from there on they can upload their GIF animations, or they can take advantage of all the perfect working ones you gathered for them already. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Which are available in the library. Yeah.
Right now there are about 85 templates in the platform. One of the things that we're working on right now is expanding that. So we've kind of reached as many as we can, because the discovery mechanism is not great. So we're working on a tagging system now. So, whether it's going to be recruitment, connection, GIF, or, whatever template you want, we're going to be able to tag them all, and then we'll be able to add hundreds more, which we'll be adding, over the next month or two. So 85 for now, but many more coming as we improve the kind of discovery mechanism of the templates that we created. But yeah, absolutely. The API key here that you add, that's a one-off process. You add it by account. You can use that same one API key for many different accounts. There's no restrictions there in terms of using one key for multiple accounts within your Expandi settings. And once you've done that, you're going to see all of your images in here that that you've created. So what was the one that we created there? It was IGN. Maybe I need to do a refresh, don't I? Yeah, that was the other good thing. Once you've added a new image, you click this sync from Hyperise, and then what that's going to do is allow you to see here we've got the IGN GIF event, and you see a preview of it. The reason why I couldn't see it before is because I hadn't clicked the sync, and the sync is what will update your list. Whenever you add a new image in Hyperise, click this, and that will bring them from using the API. And that really is as simple as it can be, in terms of being able to, one, add personalized short links. And again, these can be copied and moved across different messages. They're kind of work in that sort of way as well. And we can just use the placeholder here to be able to add those into our messages. They can also be used in mails as well. So they're kind of very flexible in terms of where they can be used. And as we saw from the deck, they look great when you click those. I'm just conscious we're kind of like 10 minutes from the end. So I'm kind of thinking maybe we kind of start looking at kind of answering some of those questions. I know that one of the questions that comes up quite regularly is image dimension. So when you're creating these images, as we saw there when I used GIF-PAL, I created a kind of a rectangle sort of shaped GIF. And the reason for that is because I was, in my mind, I was going to be using it in a short link kind of type message, image, should I say. And these kind of images need to be, as you can see, this is how it's going to look in LinkedIn. It's going to be like a 2-to-1 sort of ratio. You're going to have the image, and then obviously you're going to have the personalized title description underneath. Whereas when you embed an image, they're going to appear square. So even if your image isn't square, as you can see, this one isn't square, it's going to be pillar boxed inside this kind of square reveal, if you like. When you click that, it is going to open up full size and will be whatever, unhindered, uncropped, as it were. But obviously, the squarer your image, then the more it's going to fill up that box that's available. So a 1-to-1 ratio, ideally 600 by 600 pixels would be amazing. And again, in the short links, 2-to-1, so more like 600 by 300 sort of ratio. So hopefully that's kind of given everybody kind of an idea in terms of sort of images to create and the sort of sizes, for your use cases. But if anybody has any other questions, I'd love to kind of get stuck into those.
Yeah, but before we go to the questions, Ian, sorry to interrupt you again. You shared so much value, so much examples. I can imagine people wanted to get their hands on their own. How can we proceed? It's almost Christmas. What do we have in mind? Amy, do we have to prepare something nice for everybody here so that we can help people to move forward straight away and get their hands on both applications?
Yes,
What
definitely.
can we provide?
So if you want to sign up with Expandi, you can of course get your 7-day free trial. It's usually $99 per month per LinkedIn account. And if you want to sign up this month, you can get 30% off your subscription for 3 months. And if you also want to sign up with Ian over in Hyperise, we're going to match each other. So he's going to give us 30%. Do you want to tell a bit about your pricing first, Ian?
Yeah, absolutely. So essentially our pricing, we have 3 different plans depending on the functionality you want. So kind of most of what we've talked about today is image personalization. So using personalized images or short links in your outreach, that's all covered under our $49 a month plan. So that gives you effectively 5 personalized images. That could be using that over 5 different LinkedIn accounts, essentially for $49. If you want the website personalization as well as the image personalization, then that's $99 per month, but then that increases to 10 live personalized images. So again, that could be 10 different LinkedIn accounts and personalized, 10 different personalized landing pages on your website. So, it's, for effectively for $99, that supports, 10 different people using personalized GIFs, and personalizing landing pages for them. And again, we're matching your discount, so it's 30% off for the first 3 months, and we're synced. We've both got the same code, which is Expandi X Hyperise.
Yep. So if you use that in the coupon section when you're signing up, you'll get 30% off. And we have loads of resources that are going to help you if you need it. So to start with, we have, of course, both of us have help centers where you can find all of the guides that you would need. We have a live chat. Ian, you guys have a live chat, that's right?
Yeah, we do, absolutely. It's on the main website and within the platform as well.
Yeah, so the same thing. Expandi offers a lot of resources. I can speak for us more than I can for Ian right now. For example, we have our academy, which we're going to actually be teaming up with Ian, and we're going to put in a full training course in there so that he can show you, we've given you a snippet now, but obviously he can go in way more depth than he has. So we're going to put that, we're going to get that set up. Right now we have one course in the academy, and it's Stefan was already speaking about it, how to become a V2 rock star. So if you are already customers of Expandi, you maybe already know about it, but we're going to be transitioning into a nice new front end. So before we do that, you can already become a superstar in it. We have YouTube channels with all of guides over there, blogs, ebooks, templates, everything that you could ask for we have, and they're all linked here as well. From you, Ian, I know you have a lot of resources too. You have
absolutely. We've
lots.
Well, we have an academy similar to yourselves, or not similar to yourselves, and yours is much better structured than ours. Ours essentially is just video content that's accessible within our kind of from our main site, but also all of the onboarding resources are kind of in the academy as well. We have a Facebook group where there's lots of ideas banded around, and as you said, we've also got the kind of the live chat. So kind of typically if you're looking to kind of from a learning perspective, then our academy is all video based content, and you can access that from the site. Other than that, then our Facebook group is a good place to go to ask questions. Or find where we can share a lot of our kind of use cases as well.
Nice. There is a couple of questions still open in the Q&A if we have a couple of minutes left to answer. I wasn't sure on the answer of this, Ian. Can you use Instagram for Hyperise or with Hyperise?
Instagram, so there are a couple of platforms that offer Instagram automation. Texo, for example, is one. There are others. And you can add Hyperise images in there using those sort of automations. I've never really had a lot of success with those just because the limits are so limited, like with Facebook messaging as well. It's effectively Facebook Messenger and Instagram are a unified platform now. So, they both have, it's like 40 messages a day before, you kind of, so I've never found a lot of value in that. But yeah, absolutely you can. Also with personalized short links, they will work on any social platform. Like you can share them on Slack and you'll still get that preview in Pinterest, in Facebook Messenger, Instagram. Those short links will give that same experience that you see in LinkedIn in all of those social platforms. Absolutely. So that hopefully that answered that question. The second question there, can you identify the prospect if they clicked on the GIF in an external link through LinkedIn Outreach? So yeah, if they click on that link, then that link is specific to them. So it doesn't matter where they click that, then yeah, that's going to be personalized to them, absolutely.
John was asking about the safety of Expandi and how you can warm up the account. Expandi has so many different safety features in place to keep your account safe. We do have an auto account warm up where basically you have a start limit and an end limit, and then you can set how quickly you want it to warm up. So whether you want it to increase by 1 every day, for example, I can send that article into the chat and that will help. But there's a lot of different things that I can say for this. Firstly, being cloud-based is a nice safety feature in itself. Besides being a Chrome extension, that's kind of the 2 types of automation tools you can get out there. Being cloud-based means it's a lot more difficult to be detected rather than a Chrome extension. And then because we're cloud-based, each account gets assigned its own dedicated IP address so that you can safely send messages from the location that you're in. And then all of the ways that we send our messages are there for safety. So we have this randomized backend sequence that when we're sending messages, it mimics human behavior so that every message is kind of sent randomly. It's not every minute on the minute until it runs out of messages. It'll take nice breaks to make it look natural. And I could keep going. There is more than that, but I don't want to take up too much time. If you're really concerned, though, you can write to the support chat and they can give you some more ideas on how to keep your account safe. That was very quick. Probably no one heard anything there.
Yeah, I can only echo that. In my past, I've used many LinkedIn automation tools, and you're not paid to say this, but you're going to have the best experience from a safety perspective as well. I know recently LinkedIn had a problem, didn't it, where they just started suspending accounts just randomly. They had a bug. And I know you guys were straight on that. You paused activity on everybody's accounts as a safety precaution, where every other LinkedIn platform, were oblivious to it, and that's about as real life as you can get, irrespective of all the hyperbole and all of the promises, in real life, something that was a complete curveball. It was a LinkedIn bug, that they were incorrectly kind of slapping accounts. Even people that weren't even using automation were getting slapped.
Yeah.
But you guys were straight on that, like a tramp on chips. Amazing.
Yeah, definitely. But there's no more open questions, I think. So hopefully you guys all enjoyed that. Hopefully you learned a lot. Obviously, as we said, we're going to send everything through. The recording usually takes a while for it to get downloaded.
Yeah, a couple of hours usually. But
yeah, on the size.
We'll stay up a bit longer tonight. I will promise that. Wait for the recording, and I will make sure that I send it over before I go to sleep. I will add the coupon code in it from both sides. I will add the link in it, the deck in it, and also in the presentation some additional links to some templates. I think they are already in there. We talked about some examples, how you can use it in your email. We also will wrap up and add and guide with some examples. So before I go to sleep, I will definitely send it over if it's there from the Zoom. Much thanks for joining this session. If you really like it, spread the word with your colleagues, with your friends, and everybody who can benefit of this. And we hope to see you soon on both platforms using these kind of GIF animations and examples. Again, really thanks for joining. Ian, my friend, much thanks for being here and sharing so much practical value. And of course, our lovely Amy for answering and helping out on all the questions, wrapping up the coupon codes and the presentation, of course. I wish everybody a great rest of the day, evening, or afternoon. And let's catch up soon.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks everyone for your time. See you soon. Bye.
Bye-bye.